There's a calm surrender to the rush of day. When the heat of the rolling wind can't be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can't you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe love remains.
And call every soul to account. In Islamic belief, the trumpet is more attributed to Israfil, but Gabriel's role in the end remains monumental. He is present in the unraveling of creation, a witness to the moment when order of the cosmos is reversed. The stars will scatter, the sky will split, and Gabriel will be there, not as herald of beginnings, but as a figure confirming the final stage of what was always inevitable. He is not cast in the role of warrior or comforter. His function is colder, more exact. Gabriel forces what has already been written. There's no argument, no delay. His presence is the final punctuation to the sentence of existence. He stands amid ash and silence, signaling the last breath of the world. And when that moment comes, it is not chaos that descends. It is order collapsing on cue. Gabriel does not need to destroy. He simply delivers the sound that ends the story. Gabriel doesn't terrify.
Hello and welcome back to our another message session here. Well, as always, these seem to be lately have been surrounding the astrology that's going on right now. I know the last one was Sun at 180 degrees of Uranus at 29 degrees in Taurus, which would be one of the last, or actually the last time that specific event would actually happen, which unfolds like the ending of a chapter of our lives. And then, of course, a lot for celebration, of course, because Uranus in the Taurus sign definitely yields something brand new in that financial section of that place. It is the second house according to regular astrology in a chart, which usually deals with like finances and stability. And currently the moon's at 8 degrees of Capricorn. That's great because I'm a Capricorn. And I'm just like 2 degrees away in moon time from having the moon just come over and repeats itself over my sun. And what happens is that a real rejuvenating effect happens to the person. So coming back from like Friday and then going into Saturday, there is so much. First of all, I'm going to say this right now. There are so many things to unpack that I literally had to wait yesterday and take the rest that I needed and wait until like this very moment to do this. Anyways, if you are in a hurry, this is probably not going to be fun for you because it's going to feel like it's never ending, or you'll get so caught into like it that you are going to be so frustrated that you can't hear everything. So I'm telling you right now, get someplace because there's a lot. Oh my God, the synchronicity today on this is crazy because the astrology that I'm about to do right now has where, let's start from the top. Okay, the sun is at 1 degree of Sagittarius. We are in a brand new place since Friday. Okay, the transition from a Scorpio sun to a Sagittarius sun should really have changed your life. The other thing, what's bad about that and what's good about that? Now, if Uranus was part of that big show that was going on just like 2 days ago, now Pluto is back in the story. Why? Because he is leading and currently, I never know what Pluto, he likes to do 4 or 5 times, but I haven't been counting. But I do know this. I know that he's gone over this territory before. I know that there are certain things and that we've gathered during these times that would allow us to have a second review of that. Maybe it's how you feel, whatever. And that may have occurred to you like somewhere in like January, February, March of 2024. Yes, we're going that far. Here's the other thing. Well, I covered the moon, that it will just be, going over my sun in just a few hours here. But then Mercury, who is also in retrograde at the moment, is moving backwards. What does that really mean? You're like, oh my God, why do you say that? Nothing moves backwards. You guys are making things up. Well, those types of observations are the observations as they appear to how you are when you are, if the earth had eyes, that's how it's dealing with it. So you're earth at that point. And basically it's the relationship of how it is optically looking is what causes the effect. So it's not, even though it's mental, it's still visual, because if it was not within any of those contexts, then it probably wouldn't have any effect on you. But that doesn't mean if you don't see it that it's not having an effect either. It's a kind of a weird thing. But the fact that it actually has this optical illusion, because that's really what it is, because obviously the thing keeps moving around, the way to understand this would be this. If you have the wonderful pleasure as an adult to sit in the back seat of a car and suddenly somebody texts you, or you have a good book and you got lost in the travel because somebody else's hand is on the steering wheel. What happens to you is in that journey, because you've engrossed your mind into that thing, that television, that whatever you are able to do. What happens is that at some point in time you lose control because you're not driving, and you would find yourself in a place where is the car I'm in moving? Or is the other car moving backwards? What's going on? Which part of that place? Am I going forward or are they going backward? You don't know. It might be a split second. It might take you a little bit longer. The important part here is to understand that that's the exact optical illusion that occurs in a Mercury retrograde, where you are in that place where there's this kind of place. So that event, because it startles you, even on a visual thing, because it makes you not know where you are, is the exact same thing that's actually happening out there with Mercury. All right, good. Now you understand what the concept of Mercury retrograde is doing. Now, according to optical view, it's don't you know this? It has now returned to a degree that's very, very familiar to me. It's actually something that's actually ran a lot of these readings here. And it's very close to hitting up that thing exactly one more time. Hitting up my Uranus. But together with it this time, it has Jupiter again in 24. So I have my regular Uranus at 24 degrees. It's going to be coming close to Mercury, so it'll be really in that almost same spot. Exactly on that same spot, I should say. But then having this trine to Jupiter. It is huge! Because, and then Venus is really close to there too. They're all really engaged right now. So this reading could be really like serious, you know? So I don't know what's gonna come out. I know I had that big part about Angel Gabriel, and that has like done a lot to what. And so what I can get from that is that when it was first like in part of like a reading from a couple of days ago, and we were talking about this thing, it means that like that effect has already happened. You need to go back and analyze what really went on in your life from like Friday and Saturday, because those events that you have been confronted for, the ones that have found you, the things and everything, the thoughts that found you, the things that you've wrestled with, they are going to have an effect now. And they're going to be much faster, and they're not going to take so long. Because now that Sagittarius is here, and the sun was here, Mars was just here just the other day, squaring up. Do you remember that day? This was something that we talked about. Well, now the sun is over here now, and there's going to be things coming down. Listen, this has become even more ridiculous. I'm not even sure if I'm leaving things out. I don't even know, but I hope not, and I don't think so. I'm gonna go piece by piece by piece. And that's it for the astrology so far. So of course, while I was doing this, if you did hear that I was listening to why I needed to pay attention to Archangel Gabriel, well, it's all there. He's someone to be fearful of, and I felt as though because I was listening to something else and I just happened to have it. But also another reason why, I had a book of saints and I never like opened it up, and yesterday I said, hey, I wanted to add something to what I do because I feel like my scene has been a little bit the same, but it's only because of the fact that this kind of work has just been like, I only realized on that day, like, oh my God, this is significant and I should take advantage of it. But so far, I haven't like regretted one moment of just following my intuition there and just doing it. So I think, well, we're going to say only that much about Gabriel in this section, okay? But we're going to go over here to this, and you can see this woman here is letting go. So this goes back to why it is that I needed to give you that background for a second, because if I just started here and start talking about that afterwards, it's not going to make sense. So I'm going to say in the wonderful chronological order of what I intended you to understand today was that now that that's all happened, now that Friday and Saturday, if you go back and you see which conversations, which persons, which thoughts came to you in those heavy times, and if you saw the reading from back then, you realized that you were, in a Four of Swords, which is rest and reflect, but the other one happened to be the little chest that was blocking this way. Well, that's exactly what Uranus comes to do. And if you ever saw that there was a key, I want to say that that's all significant because that's really what goes on that day. There's this right thing that happens, this right idea that finally fits into the situation. How I benefited from that situation was this. I started to do my reading. It was crazy as hell. I was just making mistakes. I was just not even seeing the words I was saying, but I had to get it done. But because it was actually a part of innovation, what I was able to do then was just out of nowhere, I was able to finally make one of that video specifically for another platform. And I've added additional things, and I had to learn right then and there how to edit everything that I needed to do. And I'm like, wow, it was just sitting there the whole time, but I just didn't see it. That's what Uranus does. It uncovers the thing that that was there, but suddenly you see it in a certain way and it works a certain way. You finally could put some practicality, or it brings some magnificent, wonderful part to what you've been working with. And so I succeeded in that. I sat there for hours and I milked all of that exact little time that I got with Uranus to really put my innovations through. And when I looked the other day, I really had a way more successful result had I not even taken that effort and even do that, because now I took the time of like whatever, and I did it right then and there, and everything was just so quick because your brain works like so quick when that happens. And so that's why I did that. So, what I wanted to say was that any of those events that may have occurred, they would have had some kind of surgical thing happen. When I may say surgical, it doesn't have to be physical, or it can be. But really, it's the choices, it's the blast through that comes, it's the unexpected event that comes, and the unexpected conversation that comes, the unexpected phone call. But this thing wants to remind you that we are always moving. And the thing about that also with Angel Gabriel is that it's time to move into this other dimension of time that we're in. And so here we are. It's number 2 here. It says, it's time to let go. Things are working out in your own way. The letting go here that it's asking you is that now you don't have to think about the mechanics of things, like the who, why, what, and whens. You know, what time does the train arrive on blah blah blah, or hey, would it be a sunny day if this was here, or da 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 da. It really just wanted you to like zoom out completely. And it says, it's time to let go. Things are working out in your own way. Trust that your heart is wise and is leading your soul healing journey and the right spiritual path. See, because we need to heal. Anyways, Spirit wants to bring you a blessing and a resolution, but you must let go and allow it to happen. Events are unfolding according to a higher plan. Even if your plans are going awry, know that all will come together at the right time and in the best way possible. Surrender your struggle and hold on to your faith. If you wanted to know what Cupio Salvio means, it's a Latin phrase that refers to the desire to dissolve, to be absorbed into the luminosity of the soul, where there is beauty, relief, and peace. Anyways, see? They love you guys because you have to be your own kind of beautiful. And how amazing is that? Because you have this woman here who really, can I tell you, I did not select this card specifically. These cards are upside down and a whole big thing. I can't do it because I have so much here and I really don't know what it would do. Another thing too is like, because of how I like to do my readings, I like you to be involved, like you're there. And I hope my camera doesn't shake too much because I'm just very animated when I do things. But they all kind of like really correlate. You'll find out what this damn thing means here. Actually, why don't we just say it right now, okay? Why don't we just say it? It says belonging, acceptance, and simulation. And it's a flamboyant Koi-fed female modifies her appearance with a disguise in order to simulate the mask beak transforms her visual persona and her poise means of posture further confirm her spiritual transformation. She is at one with those she has joined. It talks about how good you are. Anyways, it says whatever the form, all your of variations, the same basic objective, namely confirmation. I am this and I belong, and in turn, you are this and we accept. So it really is that in those Uranus conjunctions, yeah, that they really do bring about like something unnatural to what was at that point in time. They really do. But as you can tell, Angel Gabriel is the one that changes the world, from like so many things. So I love that I found that right here, because it really just brought about how and why this reading had to happen the way that it happened, and it's happening right now. So we're really close to where that Mercury is for me, so I'm just gonna get started with it because I'm always scared, that's why I be hanging out over here. No, there's always so much to talk about, as you know. Okay, what's the first card? Where are we? Wow, can I tell you, this was in my pre-shuffle, and I kid you not, there was a time in my life where I saw this card so much, and I was just so I used to make me so happy when I saw this card. And I don't know, for almost a year and a half, I swear to you, it really hadn't been, and maybe once in a while, but not so much. And I really didn't think about it so much because I was just so busy learning things. And when I was shuffling that deck, I said, wow, I haven't seen that so much. And then, you know what? It took me back to that place of where, what I was thinking about and whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so nostalgic. Anyways, where are we coming from? Choices. Ooh. Did our hearts make a choice for love? Did your heart make a choice? Sometimes, we live in a time. Okay, that's what that guy was saying about Angel Gabriel. Is that when he approaches for life to change, he is gonna just make your body do it, and you have to come up with it after. Think about how Mary had to say, wow, hey, Joseph's coming. Jesus is coming. And then you hear, there's a backstory of how Mary's mother Anne couldn't have a child either, and a saint said that she was going to have a child and she had Mary. Different story, but I'll tell you about that after. I gotta check that out, make sure it's true, but I swear I read that. But yeah, whoa, and what's gonna happen here? Yes, we're gonna find ourselves in this place, because it's gonna cause a lot of confusion. It looks like it's really gonna rock your world, our world, my world, your world. Where are we coming from here? A Page of Wands. A very youthful, spunky, full of energetic, youthful energy, bringing back all of those wonderful childlike feelings. Yeah, see? Look at this. Even the Page of Stones here, a complete rejuvenation has occurred in these little times here of this wonderful experience since it's happening. This rejuvenation is going on. What do we have here? Whoa. We got the Lovers with the Star. Where are we going? To heaven. She's holding something here with a white horse. sweet is that to go along with this music? This is an angel Gabriel song and meditation here with him. What do we have here? Yes, see right next to the conflict is still this thinking over. Sorry, I did not go over here to find out what ended our story here. Wow. It could definitely well be. Deception and envy. Ooh. Right after this. And right after this, right? What's caught between here? So many things. The Empress, the Devil, an Ace of Pentacle, and a Seven of Swords. A lot of envy. That's why there's a conflict over here. I guess that's gonna unfold, right? Well, I brought these new cards out here. I've had them. But let's find out what the Lovers wants to talk about here. Seven of Cups. Oh. A lot of dreams, you know, a lot of things to do. Look. Yes, well. Well. Mixed bag here. Oh my gosh. Do you realize that the star is at the middle of this, touching the star? Two stars have collided here. Whoa. Queen of Wands. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very enchanted thing, an enchanted spirit here. That's what is going on here. Lots of passion in this little love story with the star, and thinking it over. How many ways? Tony Braxton. How many ways? Let me love you. Let me count ways. Alright. I'm so scared because we're in the line of this mental conflict. We're about to break down the conflict here. What issues are there? Healing. The love that's needed for the healing. This King of Cups, if you've been watching my reading, so a lot of King of Cups really have a lot of things, but this King of Cups, he heals. He loves to heal. He loves to create a foundation, and he's very loving, and he wants to heal. Knight of Cups. Oh, and he brings the cups. Yes. The conflict might not be. It's just how to come to this moment here. Us, them, we're thinking about this. What's this? And the Queen of Arrows. Yeah, the Queen of Swords. It's all leading to her. It's all leading to her. So let's put her in her place here. This is where she should have been. I just didn't because these cards, they mess up my thing. But now, here she is. Okay, and you could see after this reads, let's read this all over again, because guess what? It's going to make sense, right? Because I don't know what the cards are. I just do them. So this mental conflict is how do I heal? How do I heal this? The past, because he's looking at, you notice he's looking at the past, right? Something that was the healing for that, and then offer this cup, right? So he's offering 2 cups. He's offering double the amount now to this Queen of Swords, who now is going to speak because she's raising this arrow. If you realize that we've once had the Queen of Swords, we've probably had 3 or 4 times where the Queen of Swords was at the bottom of the deck and she was having her head bowed down and she wasn't doing anything. But in this Queen of Swords, she has her arrow poised. She's ready to talk. She is just ready to get off that chair. I'm sorry, I did not unfold this. And we got the Five of Wands here. You know, it's a conflict, but in reality, it's putting all the people in the places now. And that's what's going on here at the end of this deck. Dealing with jealous people in the environment after this thing has gone down. You know, the desires are there. The devil's in between there. It means that, you know, these people, whoever these two people are, they have been planning for a while. This thing has been going on. This is not something built on yesterday. They've been holding on. They've gone through the pain. Okay? But this is their obstacles here. Envious people. People that are in the way. What's here? I mean, can you imagine? Movement. Two of Wands. This person's moving from... Oh, listen. How many twos so far? How many? Come on. We started off, right? 2. Here she is again. 2. Here's a real problem. 2. Here's the outcome. 2. You can't make this up. And we have another hangman. The hangman is under the hangman. And the 2 stars are together. Oh yeah. You're seeing that. You're watching this. This is a Mercury retrograde. Trining up to my Uranus at the 24 exact degree of its final retrograde. So this is kind of like a final story here of something. And we have our final message here, which I love that I've saved till last. And it's Archangel Raphael. And he's definitely one of the 3 popular male angels. And it says, find a reason why you want to be the healthiest, most vibrant version of you. Then watch how your life transforms. So, I think that's great just because... You know, be accepted by someone and really join the crowd here and be your kind of own beautiful. Your own kind of beautiful. So let's really break this down what's from beginning to end here. And there's a final analysis. I love doing them. There are 2 7 of Cups here. And they're under each other. And there are also 2 stars here, and they're very close to each other here. So they're remember I was talking about how if you don't see the optical proximity of something, then it's less likely, but it exists. But when it really is, then it's really making a difference in our senses. That's exactly kind of like what it is that I could really say is a kind of little replication of like what's gone on here. Look, we have an opposition here, right? And they're close to each other like this. Those are the 2 hangmans. But what's amazing about this story is like what I said before. And this King of Wands here, as he looks at this High Priestess, it's the spirituality of this person that this male energy really, really enjoys. He really thinks it's a really very attractive thing to him. Why we see this is because the black cat's here. So it's her mysticism that he really, really, really enjoys that. It's something that he can't, I think he finds that to be a resource that he can't really manufacture. And the best thing about this whole thing, which I believe this is about those 2 people, is that they've just really seen it all. They've seen They've seen somebody crazy. They've had a snake. They don't know what's going on over here. You know, some people are gold diggers. This is a little bitch. You know, I guess that's a little victory, but you know, they choose each other. And so I guess they've seen it all because the passion between them is real. You can see also here from this, one more time, how does this work? How do these cards come out this way, you know? Merlin, you know, something comes out of nowhere and begins this whole re-journey again. And you see the King of Wands one more time, initiating. You know, it's only a King of Wands. He is the rightful person in the Lover's cards because of his fiery dynamics. And the other half is really the Queen of Wands here. So in reality, this King of Wands is a real big character here. As you can see his movement throughout what it is. You can see how at this point in time where he has this wand in his hand, right? She doesn't have it. He has to go through all these people. Just like the envy over here. That's why they end it like this. It's because of the fact that each of one of these is about another person included that's not part of these two people's lives. Right here, and even right here, because it was what? There's obviously a nest to choose from. But look here, this is the kind of thing that happens when Angel Gabriel must have just done so. This is the whole connection I'm trying to put over here. It's like that really did, because look, we have this Ace of Swords out of nowhere with keys, right? And what do we have? The Magician coming out here, and suddenly that person's gone and moved. Yeah, like that thing said, Angel Gabriel came to completely change the ecosystem into something brand new. So I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, one last part that really says this. Remember when I was saying, oh, he just wants to like heal and blah blah. Yes. Here it is, the second card from the decision. Here it is. A big broken heart from somebody who used to be a Queen of Cups. Right? Because why? She's a Queen of Swords over here. Why? Because she really needs to be this person. Because that person is the best version of this person. Do you realize that what this King of Wands really wants is all these queens? He's found all these queens in this one person. And that's what it is. And I guess he likes her because she's strange. All right, bye.